Let's say you want to learn this Bob Dylan song, Knockin' on Heaven's Door. You have options for how to learn it at the piano. You can learn it from sheet music, you could learn it from a video tutorial online, or you could find the chords to it and then create your own arrangement. Let's compare those approaches and look at 5 reasons to choose chords. So this was just the first result I found on a Google search for sheet music for this song on musicnotes.com. Here's how it sounds. So keep in mind, I've been playing music for most of my life. I've been reading sheet music since I was in first grade, and this was not easy for me. And that is crazy to me because this song should be easy. This is a simple folk song. There are only 4 chords in the song. And it's not meant to be a complex or virtuosic song. It's a folk song by Bob Dylan. So it doesn't make any sense to me that we have all of these complex 16th note rhythms to read. And that's the sort of thing where if you were improvising that, it wouldn't seem hard at all, right? I can hear that rhythm and know that I'm going to play a certain chord. So I was just changing the chords there, keeping that same rhythm. It didn't feel hard to me at all. But if I were to be reading all of that on sheet music, it makes it look much more complex than it is. And this is often true when it comes to pop music that's notated on sheet music like this. There are real advantages to sheet music. I mean, if you're interested in classical music, you really have to learn sheet music. And it's helpful anytime you want to very precisely notate what you want someone to play. However, it has downsides. It locks you into one specific arrangement for the song, and when it comes to pop music, a lot of times that just doesn't make sense. Another more modern option is to look for a video tutorial for the song online. And at this point, most songs will have some kind of video tutorial on YouTube. So just for fun, let me show you how I would teach this if I were just teaching you a video tutorial of a basic keys part for the song. Here's how it'll sound. All right, those are our first 3 chords. Let's start with the left hand. You'll play G, D, and A. And then in our right hand, we start with D, G, B for that first chord. We move the top 2 notes down to get the second chord, and then we move the bottom 2 notes down to get the last chord. This is a really fast way with no prior knowledge to learn a working keys part for a song. It often works really well if there's some sort of iconic riff that you want to learn right away, and it's just great low-hanging fruit for beginners at the instrument. But again, depending on who you're learning the tutorial from, you might not get that much theory understanding of the song, and you'll be locked into one arrangement where you're not able to improvise. Plus, there's no such thing as sight reading from video tutorials. You can only play songs that you've prepared ahead of time by learning them in this memorization way from another person. Now let's look at how you could learn the song from a simple chord chart. Again, this is something you can find for almost any song for free online, and I made one here for demonstration purposes. When you see the chords for a song written out this way, you can immediately see how simple it is. This is how guitar players tend to think of music as well. They're just thinking of these basic chord shapes, and we only have 4 to play this song: G, D, A minor, and C. That opens up this space where we can bring our own skills to the song. If you only know how to play those chords in root position, that's great, and you can immediately play the song just using those most basic version of these chords. But if you're really comfortable with inversions or adding more rhythm to the song, you can immediately bring that skill into the song. So right away, you can see some advantages here. When it comes to a folk song like this, we're not overcomplicating things, and we're leaving things open enough that you can bring all of your own musicianship to the table and make the song your own. So now you've gotten a sense for the differences between these approaches. As promised, I want to give you 5 reasons you might want to choose the chord playing option. If you want to do any of these things at the piano, then chords are for you. 1, if you want to play many different songs quickly, you can sit down and read through a bunch of songs that you like on the first go. As we saw, sheet music is kind of cumbersome for most popular music. And if you have to learn songs from video tutorials, you're only able to play songs that you've already spent some time with and memorized. So if you want to just be able to play through lots of songs for fun, I'd say learn to read chord charts. Number 2, play in a band. If you want to play all kinds of different styles of popular music with other people in a band, you want to be a keys player, you need to know how to play chords, because that's most likely how the other musicians will communicate with you about the music. Guitar players, bass players are used to thinking in chord symbols, and you'll want to do the same if you want to be on the same page with them. If someone's written a new song, they're trying to teach it to you, they probably won't have traditional sheet music for you, but they probably will be able to tell you the chord progression they're playing. Number 3 is write songs. If you want to write music really of any kind, understanding how to play chords in different ways is your most useful and flexible resource. A lot of musicians who only have ever played from sheet music, if you just ask them to play something for you at the piano and they can't remember the last piece by Chopin that they memorized, they just have no idea what to do because they had all that information spoon-fed to them, but they didn't actually understand any of the logic behind it. So if you learn to understand chords, you are understanding the structure underneath the music, and that's a really good foundation from which to try rearranging those elements and writing new music of your own. Number 4 is closely related. If you're a producer and you want to use the keyboard in any manner in order to produce music in Logic or Ableton or Pro Tools, knowing chords is your most valuable tool. I know plenty of producers who aren't that comfortable at the piano keyboard, but they know enough about chords that they can edit notes in a MIDI roll and create synth parts or keys parts that work really well for their music. Finally, number 5, if you'd like to train your ear so that you can learn songs by ear and not rely on anyone else's chord chart or video tutorial or sheet music, that's very much something you can learn to do even as an adult. And one of the first steps to get there is getting comfortable with chord shapes. When I learn a song by ear, I'm not listening for a set of lots of individual notes and piecing it all together. I'm listening for harmony. I'm listening for patterns in those chords. And I've gotten familiar enough with how every chord sounds based on where it is in the key of the song that with most pop music, I can play the song back on the first try after one listen. And there's no way I could do that if I didn't know how to play every chord shape in every key really comfortably. If this resonates with you and you're motivated to learn to play chords more comfortably at the piano, I have a visual guide that shows you how to find every kind of chord symbol on the piano keyboard. You're welcome to download that for free. You can also take a course with me where I'll take you through useful drills and essential songs for becoming fluent with chord shapes on the piano keyboard. My name is Ted. Happy practicing.